Hi everyone. Before we get started with the new lesson today, let's just go over translations. It's an important area to keep fresh, and we'll be coming back to it quite often, so let's just try a few. Translate these verbal expressions to either numeric or algebraic. Let's take a look and see how we did. 5 squared. I can translate 5 squared as 5 to the second power. And again, translation is done just there. If you had to evaluate, you would write 25. A number to the fifth power. A number to the fifth power is x to the fifth. That's an algebraic expression. 3 to the fourth power. And again, we're looking at a lot of powers here. That is the exponential form. That is the form that translates that statement. If you needed to evaluate, you would get 81. 4 cubed, 4 is my base, 3 is my exponent. That's the translation. If I had to simplify, it would equal 64. And then we have 9 to the first power. And we know that any number to the power of 1 is the number itself. A number to the power to the 0 power, x to the 0 power. That leads us to that discussion of any number to the power of 0 equals 1. And we'll talk more about that at a later date. Now, not only can we look at phrases, but we could also look at sentences that translate. And we talked about looking for words like is or greater than or equal to. Let's take a look and decide whether these are phrases or sentences. The sum of 6 and a number. The sum of 6 and a number. That's just a phrase. There's no is or equal to in this expression. The sum of 6 and a number, the sum of 6 and a number is 12. That is a mathematical sentence. That word is tells me I'm looking at an equation. 7 times a number is less than 50. Okay, it doesn't say less 50, which would be subtraction. It says is less than 50. So there's some translations of phrases and sentences. Just a couple more for you to try before we move on to something new. Translate each phrase, and again I'm looking at phrases, into algebraic expressions. I'll get some volunteers, and we'll do this during our Zoom lesson. So if you can, if you watched this before, please copy and have your answers ready. On to our new lesson, and again, we're just about the end of chapter 1. We've got one more key, very important section coming up after this one. This is a pretty lighthearted one. Data. Data is information, it's facts, it's numbers, and they all describe something. So if I want to find out information about something, I'm going to, again, collect some facts, or perhaps numbers. So how do you go about organizing data? Let's brainstorm for a little bit, maybe give yourselves a moment to jot down as many ways that you can think of that you can organize data that's collected. We'll share your responses once again during our Zoom session. So suppose we want to take this information and represent it. We're going to have to start first by collecting data. And then we're going to create a table. And we need to know what to put in that table. So when we meet today, we're going to take a survey. So we're going to ask each of you what your favorite season is. We're going to collect data, and we're going to represent it in a table or in a graph. So when we meet up today, that is when we'll get to the root of this lesson. So the video is short, but we have a lot to accomplish in person. So until then, have a nice morning.